Welcome to our Trends in AI interview series. My name is Jakub Zavrel, founder of Zeta Alpha, and with me is Dinos Papakostas.
Hi, everyone.
And today we have on our interview series Hyeongu Yun, AI scientist at the EXAONE lab, part of LG AI Research from Korea. Hyeongu has a PhD in electrical and computer engineering from Seoul National University. He has done multiple internships at Microsoft Research and Never, and he has been over the last years playing a huge role in the development and release of large language models at LGAI Research. Today we're gonna talk about some of the recent releases. So congratulations on the recent announcement and release of the EXAONE 3 model, which has made quite a splash because you've managed to basically release a model of around 7 billion parameters, which is very competitive in terms of its benchmark scores. And made it open. So congratulations on that. So welcome on the interview. And maybe to start with, can you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got to this research, and how did the EXAONE project start, and how did you work towards this release?
Thank you. Thank you very much for introducing me, and I really appreciate you and Zeta Alpha to having me in this interview. So the EXAONE project is actually started at the mid of 2021. So we started our large language model project to help other LG companies like LG Electronics or LG Display. So it's been a long time since we have started the project about the large language model. So, and at the 2022, we actually published our first large language model to other LG companies, not to the public. So in 2022, we have various version of the model size, and we have provided various large language models, which is basically actually based on the pre-trained models. So that is kind of our first achievement of the EXAONE project, and we can call that model as the EXAONE version 1.0. And then the next year, 2023, we actually focused on reducing the hallucination of the large language model. So we actually develop the retrieval augmented system, and specifically for the researchers. So we have actually not opened to public, but we have announced that project as the EXAONE Universe, which we can consider as EXAONE version 2. So at the 2023, last year, actually I and our team have developed the EXAONE Universe, which is the retrieval augmented system with the large language model, and we also announced the multimodal, which is vision language model, which is called the EXAONE Atelier. So we have also provided that model to the other LG affiliate companies. So and this year we have opened our EXAONE version 3.0, which we focused on the instruction following ability, and we have opened to the public. So that is the brief introduction of our journey to the EXAONE version 3.
Great. And the EXAONE 3 model is quite strong, right, in its performance on a whole number of benchmarks. What were the main challenges that you had to overcome in making this pretty huge jump in performance?
So to be honest, actually every step was the challenge for us. So we need a lot of GPUs or TPUs and we also need a lot of multiple cores CPU system with the large main memory, and we also need to preprocess extremely large size of the corpus to pre-train our large language model. And the another challenge was to get the Korean corpus, because we are focusing on we want our model to be a bilingual, which is good, which shows good performance in both English and Korean.
Right.
So that was another big challenge. And we actually did the other challenges are on the high quality data filtering. So we want to our model train efficiently. So we comparably use a small size of data than the other big tech companies, but we show that if we get the high quality data, then our model shows comparable performance to the other big tech companies one. So, and another challenge is to focusing on the instruction following ability. So we want our model to show high instruction following ability in, you can think the empty bench or the chatbot arena things. So that was the another big challenge for us.
And did you do something specific to focus on this bilinguality? Is there some special trick that you need to get right, or you just gather a lot of Korean data and throw everything at the model?
We actually focus on the curating the ratio on the PLM and pre-train stage and post-train stage and instruction following stage to get the high performance on Korean. And we also did some kind of we also did a lot of experiments in when building tokenizer. So if you check our tokenizer in the Hugging Face, so you can see that there are a total of 10,000 vocabulary, and you can see the half of which is the 50,000 of vocabulary is the Korean related vocabs.
Right. So in that sense, the model is able to devote more of its representational resources to actually properly model the Korean data, right?
Right, that's right.
Yeah. And so can you summarize briefly your insights from the paper? How does the EXAONE model compare to other recent large language models in terms of its benchmark performance?
We set that category up to the real world use category. Mm-hmm. So in that category, we have classified empty bench, and Arena Hard version 0.1, and wild bench and Alpaca Eval version 2. So in that category, we actually showed better performance than the Llama and Gemma and QN2 and V3 and Mistral in empty bench and Arena Hard and wild bench. So that's actually we mainly focused on. So yeah. We want our model to get better performance when you actually use, and we want our model to follow the instruction you put in. So that is the most feature we focused on. And we also focused on our model to be good at math and coding. So in the GSM and math benchmark, we also show the high performance compared to the models that have smaller parameter than 10 billion size.
So a lot of focus has been on the instruction following, and you achieved very good results on benchmarks using the word that is important. I was wondering to hear your thoughts about kind of the reasoning capabilities of the model. When I was reading the paper, it seemed that some of the benchmarks which really require more detailed reasoning, the capabilities were a little bit less strong compared to some of the other models. So can you talk a little bit about how your post tuning to do instruction following, how it has an effect on these kind of instruction following capabilities versus reasoning capabilities?
Oh, so this is a really deep question, I think, and really good one, I think. So, this is a really my personal opinion, and I really think that the term reasoning in the LLM researches are not actually strictly defined. We can, everybody saying reasoning, but everybody means the another reasoning in their own mind. So, uh, we can define reasoning in many other aspects. We also developed the RAG system called the chat EXAONE, which is the next version of the EXAONE Universe I have mentioned. So we actually put the chat EXAONE to handle this kind of reasoning like Big Bang chart or MUSR, which reasoning I mentioned in I think this kind of reasoning need some kind of a general knowledge, and you must handle that general knowledge to the exact output they want. So we put those kind of reasoning. We take those kind of reasoning with the RH system, and we also developed that system uh, with the retriever and call that chat EXAONE. So that is our answer right now. But we know there are room to improve, and we are trying to get more advanced reasoning capability in this benchmark in next version.
Yeah, so I guess what you're saying is that injecting more general knowledge into the reasoning is an important part of that, and
Right.
you see more like retrieval augmented generation to be the right path rather than extra fine tuning or extra reinforcement learning from human feedback on the model.
Right. For the reasoning required from that kind of benchmarks,
Right.
which need the general knowledge, and your model must handle that kind of general, extract some information in that general knowledge and put the exact output they want.
Yeah, so we know that you also published other work. For example, you participated in the list T5 paper, I think, right? So I know
Right.
you're somewhat knowledgeable of these retrieval type of systems as well. Can you speculate a little bit? So in um, recent work, some people have really kind of united these two worlds of large language models and embedding generating models in work like LLM2Vec. Do you see that path forward as well, kind of as unified models, which do both the generative part and the retrieval part of those kind of systems?
First, thank you very much for mentioning the list T5, which is the re-ranking model, encoder-decoder based re-ranking model, and this is another work from our company and me. And so I think eventually one large and one really good model can handle all of the retrieval and generation part. So that's our final mission to be achieved. But that kind of future is not here yet. Even
Right.
even even if the most powerful LLM. So so to but we can do a little shortcut with another retriever model. So that's why we are focusing on the LLM, and we are focusing on two track with LLM and the RAG system. So we are you can think that we are doing some kind of a divide and conquer strategy. So we we use the generation part and the information retrieval part, and I I also agree what you just said. You can the embedding retriever with the embedding technology are still have a lot thing to do in current research.
So I think you are building out the EXAONE model into applications as well, right? It's really meant to be a backbone of LLM powered applications. You already mentioned the chat model. Can you comment a little bit on the type of applications where you see this type of model being applied?
So the other model I mentioned, the chat EXAONE is not publicly available right now. So, but we had the demo on the ACL conference and this year. So in the chat EXAONE system, which is actually the system, we have our EXAONE model as a backbone, and we have a lot of other modules to construct the whole system, like the retriever and document parser, and also the output generator, and also there are the moderator to filter the toxic input or toxic output. So the RAG system is currently the RAG system is really powerful tool to use. You can get output without very reduced rate of the hallucination or very reduced rate of the toxicity, and you can handle a lot of different type of document like the PDF or web document. So that is another really good way to do for our company, which are trying to improve the work efficiency for other edge companies.
Right. And so now that you've released the model, what is some of the first feedback that you're getting from users? How do the users kind of comment back on the recent release?
We actually got a really lot feedback than I expected at the ACL conference, and the many professors actually it's from the professors and students in the schools, so they really liked it, and they said that the instruction following ability is really great, and I was really glad because that is our main focus. And from the other teammates and other companies, other edge companies, they have a feedback, very positive feedback, that it is really helpful to the work efficiency. So we are really relieved, and we are really glad to have those kind of feedbacks.
Yeah, and so you decided to make the model, even though it's like aimed to be a commercial product itself, you've also decided to make the model open and release it on Hugging Face. So congratulations on that, or thank you for that. Can you talk a little bit about the motivation behind that, why you want to make it open, and what's the future path of that?
The main motivation is to help the AI researchers in our community, especially for the Korean researchers. So we think because this scene is changing really fast, so we decide to open our model to have a positive influence to our AI community and the whole AI ecosystem, and that was the main motivation from our captain.
For clarification, just is this current model also multimodal? The current EXAONE model that you releasing is multimodal, or is it just text for this moment?
This model is just a language model, text to text model. So, but you can check, you can fit in the another vision encoder models to make the multimodal system. So. Right. Yes, but our release model is just text-to-text model.
Maybe also a question for like a more general development of models in the future. I think you mentioned briefly in the paper that you generate data. So this made me think of the generation of synthetic data. How do you see this playing into both the current ecosystem and the future?
The LLM performance to generate the expert domain text has already exceeded the performance of the human. Average human. So we really think to generate the synthetic data from the pre-trained model can help to fine-tune the model to have the special capability. And that is one way we are researching. and we have positive initial results.
Do you also see some shortcomings where they should not be used, for example, or where synthetic data is not the solution?
Where I have seen recent news articles that worries about the mode collapse in synthetic data, but I actually don't think that that mode collapse disaster is not coming in near future, because we are using the sequential data, which is robust to the mode collapse, and we also but we think that the really specialized data in specialized domain, we still need the human expert to generate data or annotate the preference.
How do you see the role of large language models in evaluation? I think for part of the benchmarks, you've actually used the LLM as a judge paradigm, right?
Right.
So if we kind of combine Dina's question and this aspect, you have kind of large language models being trained by other large language models and judged by other large language models. Where do you see the limits of that, or do you think we need humans to do the benchmarking?
Okay, so this is really ongoing research in everywhere. I just saw the Meta guys have published the kind of that kind of paper in the archive called the Fraptold evaluator, and also this is a really ongoing topic, and we are also researching this kind of topic, and well, I think ultimately this have the limitation, but where we actually saw the limitation from for using the GPT-4 as an evaluator for Korean. So when you see our open benchmark called the KO empty bench, which is the Korean version of the empty bench, we actually the most probable mistake from the GPT-4 when evaluating the Korean text is of course really high for the English text, which is well written from the Korean instruction. So that is the one limitation we faced with the LLM evaluator. And I think there can be many other limitations when you use the LLM as a evaluation. But for now, for the general purpose, the LLM evaluator performs better than the general human evaluator for our even our initial research results. So we can, in my opinion, in conclusion, we can use the LLM as an evaluator, but we need to use it very cautiously.
Yeah, so I think in conclusion, you have shown a very good example of how it is possible to build a bilingual model which is state of the art on English and has very significantly better capabilities in Korean in this case. I think in Europe, many countries are also pushing research teams to build these kind of more localized models. So I think your work can be a great inspiration for that. In closing, do you want to kind of give some thoughts on where the journey is going to go with EXAONE?
The EXAONE actually stands for the expert AI for everyone. So our final goal is to build the AI model, the large language model, or the large language system, including large language model for the expert or professionals. So we hope that our system or our model to help professional to be more professional, and we also want our model to help non-professional to be professionals. So that is our final goal.
All right. Thanks, Hyeongu, for taking part in this interview. And we wish you great success with EXAONE in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.